Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome this evening to more PSGL action. It's round 10 of 12 here in the PSGL F10 Championship this season, and unfortunately we will not have one of the championship rivals in F1R Dende here tonight, which is such a shame. Really been having a big old battle all season with Hersey, but that shouldn't distract you, to be honest, for today, since all these drivers can still put out some great action for you guys. I am the commentator for tonight. My name is Sam, and I'll be the one going through the rest of this season for you, and hopefully, potentially, and beyond. But who knows from that point? We're getting very, very close towards the end of the season now here in PSGL. A bunch of titles are set to be wrapped up this week, and this is not one of them, but this is one which could swing in Hersey's favour, of course, because Dende not being here, which is very unfortunate, but it is down to personal reasons, and again, I don't know. But anyway, we're going to look for the first person who's going to be setting a lap, and that is going to be Lewis, and we're going to go on board with him, and we're going to see how his first lap goes. So he's on the soft tyres in the McLaren, one of the longest straights down, and this is a really good opportunity to get an overtake into the first corner on the first lap. Very, very long straight down to turn 1, of course, through this tricky chicane section. Turns 1 and then turns 2 and turns 3. You can clip the curb here. Very easy to invalidate if you do it wrong. He's done it right though. Lewis has done a good job with that one. DRS open, then on to the next DRS straight, then down to turn 4. Break around the 100-meter board. Nice and easy through them corners. Now through turn 5 and turn 6. Another very tricky section here of this racetrack. A smaller straight here. Nothing too significant. Onto the S sections of turn 7 to turn 11 here. Clipping the curbs nice and easy. Nice apex again. Now into this corner. Does he lift? He does lift a little bit, but not too much, which is very good from Lewis. DRS open, another small straight, and now into the stadium section. Very famous this track has become because of this stadium section. As of recent, and of course Lewis Hamilton, who rose upon the podium saying still I rise, of course, in 2019. However, Lewis is coming to the line now for his first lap completed, and I tell you what, that is going to be a lap that's going to be wanting to beat by actually a pretty good lap, opening up the campaign for Lewis. Next across the line, they're all coming into the pit lane, it looks like. We have got someone just crossed the line. That's Jack Tyre, and that's not a lap he would want to look at again. However, he is on the medium tyres, so we'll give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt that it was not a poor lap. But yeah, hello everybody. I hope you're all doing good this evening, really. And Alpha's already started to put a wager in for himself. He'll shave his head if he gets points. I mean, if you do get points, please, please, please make a video or share a photo in the F10 chat or something, because I really would love to see that. And I mean, you shouldn't be saying this because it's an almighty possibility. We talk about these lower tiers, they do have a lot more unpredictability than the top tiers. However, of course, the top tiers have been a bit more unpredictable because of the reason of how close it is, usually. And the unpredictability here can also be close, but it's mainly just down to the fact that just everyone is, it can be just chaos sometimes, but that's a good thing. That is a good thing. We see it in F2 in real life, in F3 in real life, that we do see a lot more driver mistakes, and I tell you what, these drivers are human. They are not like robots, and that is exactly what F1 is like. They're basically robots. They're insanely quick, way too quick than a lot of these people can imagine, and some people just don't know where they find the extra temps from, but they find them, and they find a way. So very, very good drivers they are, but let's not doubt these drivers, because these drivers are also fairly talented. Of course, to be competitive is a skill in itself. It doesn't matter how quick you are, as long as you're competitive, you're a good driver. Anyway, so Lewis at the moment, he will have the top spot, and I said about that time being difficult to beat. It's proving to be the case. 5 tenths between him and second place. That just shows already from early doors how good the lap is looking to be. Alpha F1, who has just started his lap. No one coming towards the finish of their lap. So we will just stick around with Alpha for a little while, and hopefully number 72 in the Ferrari can finally score his first points of the season came very close and on track, finished P10 in USA, which would have secured his first points, but the amount of penalties he got ruined that. And I think this is one of the tracks where there is a possibility we could see someone get disqualified for too many penalties. So that's another thing which I like to pick up on, really, is that we have seen in USA last week there was someone in F11 who got disqualified for too many penalties. Luckily this tier weren't too bad and were fairly disciplined. They did get penalties, but they didn't get enough really to suggest they're going to be completely gone. But Alpha really raking this car through the corners here. He's doing a good job on this lap so far as he comes now through the stadium section. And let's see how good this part of the track he is at. Looks fairly decent, to be fair, through here as he accelerates and exits the corner to finish upon his lap. And let's see what lap he can put in. A 1 minute 15.2. Not bad from Alpha F1. He's down in 8th place, but he'll be looking to improve on that at a later time. James Dovey, I was just about to say I wouldn't be surprised if he's going 4th, but the thing is he's invalidated, so there's no chance of that one. Steber is going to complete his lap. He is not invalidated. This is one of the tracks which is very easy to, but what's Steber going to do? He's the second man into the 1 minute 13, still nowhere near Lewis. Unfortunately, so we now have to look and find someone else. Now we've found Aero Specialist, who's on a lap. He's looking fairly quick through here. That was flat out through there. Brilliant lap so far, I guess, from Aero Specialist. I've not seen what lap time he's put in, but it's looking fairly quick. Let's see what the Racing Point can do, which would be named Aston Martin next season. I cannot wait for that. And oh my goodness, the momentum's just been lost. Is he going to complete his lap, or is he just going to come into the pits? He's going to come into the pits. That was fairly unfortunate there for Aero Specialist. It looked like it really was on to being a pretty decent lap indeed. Where is Lewis? Is Lewis the furthest out? Well, he was the furthest out that hadn't invalidated, but he's ruined that now. Avonis has already ruined it himself. So we'll find Steber. In fact, Steber's further up on his lap. Or is he on an in-lap? I think that's just a game mistake. He's on an in-lap. So he'll be into the pits this lap, I reckon. Where's Jack Tyler then? One of the early contenders at the start of the season. Kind of dropped off a little bit, but he's looking to regain his status on the podium. And is this finally the race to end that drought? It's been a long, long time since I've heard this man's voice in the commentary box, obviously at the end of the day, and whether it's down to misfortune or anything, I do not know, but he hasn't been here since Australia, since the first race of the season, and he has had a bit of bad luck in some of the other races, which has led to him not being here, but we'll have to wait and see if he is here at the end of the night. But he's coming through sector 2 now, finishing it off. He's 1 second up, 1.2 seconds up, so it's on for being a 14.3 right now, roughly. But I wonder if he will find a little bit more time. Track Formula awkwardly there, and even more awkwardly so, Jack Tyler does invalidate, so into the pits he will come now. So we're now going to try and find someone else. We're going to find his teammate who is early on a lap, so we're just going to look for someone a little later on the track, and I think this is fine. Davey W in 3rd place right now with 14.1. A little bit of a lock-up, big lock-ups in fact, through some of these corners. So the Williams driver, who is representing Williams only tonight, he'll be looking for a good result for the manufacturer in who I believe, if I am correct, are top of the constructors. Nice and easy, top of the constructors by 18 points. But Davey W at the moment in 3rd place. I didn't quite see if he was up. I think he's up by a small amount. So it looks like this is going to be a little bit of an improvement. But it's a little bit of a step up to improve on position. Steber in 2nd place, and does he do it? Yes, he does. That's actually a really good final sector. He's made up a lot of time there, but once again, no one even close to Lewis. So Lewis is completely on rockets at the moment, but I will expect to see the Haas driver Hersey up there, as his 14.6 was set on the mediums to everyone's surprise. Sticky comes across the line, doesn't really improve. What about Track Formula? Well, he's not going to improve this lap anyway. James Dovey, he's coming through sector 2. He's got awkwardly Warren Haug in front of him, who is on the old mediums, and this is just not helpful for the McLaren driver at all. I think he's going to be pretty annoyed with that one, with Warren Haug in the way there. However, Warren could have been on a lap. Was he on a lap? It looks like he was. If he peels into the pits, this is a massive insult for James Dovey. As he does come through. I don't know why he's out on 3-lap old mediums. Rather interesting strategy. I guess you're keeping old softs, but he does come across the line, and he does improve. So, really, I guess there's a fair claim for that, but, you know, how much of a fair claim is that really going to be for James Dovey? That's not going to be something he would like to see back. And, oh, Hersey, oh my goodness, we're seeing a bunch of these sort of things happen to him. He spun again. Not liking the track, I guess, to these new softs. He's got to get back to the pits. He's got 6 minutes left. Luckily, if you get damage or anything like that, it does not take time out of your qualifying session. So we'll easily have time to go again. And, oh, Alpha F1. Oh, my goodness. Will he have time to go again? Well, no, he won't. He's in the wall, and he's out of qualifying. And that is a bit of a disaster for the Ferrari driver as his teammate goes by. He's probably feeling a little bit skittish after that one. Seeing his teammate absolutely go into the wall. I say that, but he's just absolutely smashed the pole time. A 13.4 there for track formula. On old softs though, so there's a possibility, but that is probably not what he would have wanted, and he probably could make a little bit more time on that, on fresher softs. But now let's look at Vonis coming through these tricky S section, now coming through down to the stadium section. I think that's Warren Hauge's just gone by. And now through these tricky corners, and finally through turn 15, and then turn 16 here, and then obviously out of turn 17. And let's see if Vonis can improve. It does look like a fairly decent lap, and he has improved. He's up to 5th. So that is a good lap indeed for the Racing Point driver. Jack Tyler has invalidated. Aero Specialist has also invalidated. This is quite awkward for Aero Specialist. I thought he was doing pretty strong coming into this, but he really needs to set a lap. That is what the main thing needs to be done here, and right now he's not set one, so this is actually kind of becoming a bit of a crucial sort of point now for Aero Specialist, and the pressure is starting to bulk up upon these drivers towards the end of this session. I just want to mention, James Dovey said in the chat, rain at the end of the race, so it looks like there is a possibility we will or we won't get rain then, because this game likes to play tricks. By end of the race, it could mean lap 14, or it could mean lap 37, and by lap 37, the end of the race, simply because the race has ended. But yeah, that could mean anything, rain at the end of the race. But I think that'll be intriguing to see. Last season, I don't usually like to bring up my league racing thing, but last season in USA, it started raining. And this was in F8, it started raining, I believe, on like lap 23 or something, and it got so bad that they suggested or recommended intermediates on lap 26. So I was in the lead at this point. I had 2 drivers on soft tyres right behind me, and they were going to overtake me if I stayed out. I was on medium, so I decided to take a rather risky, ballsy strategy and decided to pit. And, well, you know where this is going. In 2 laps, I made up an entire pit stop on those intermediate tyres and just about finished across the line ahead of him. Anyway, enough about my league racing experiences. Back to James Dovey, who's about to finish across the line. Haven't seen his lap too far. It looks alright, and he's gone up to 6th place. I think he'll be a bit chuffed with that he's got finally a lap on the board. I wonder if he could have gone a little quicker. I wonder if he'll be thinking the same. But at the moment, we really only have 2 contenders to the pole position. We haven't seen Hersey on the soft tyres yet, so I'm still remaining a bit content about that. But to be honest with you, making up almost a second and a half, is definitely not easy, even on the quicker compound. So we will have to wait and see on that. So it looks like Black Phoenix is invalidated, so Lewis is going to be the person we're just going to go on board with for a little while, and he is up. He hasn't set a lap since his first run, so this is going to be a good comparison of the track evolution here. as he comes through sector 2 now. Sector 1, you don't really make too much time up, only really got the first 3 corners. Sector 2 is where most time can be made up, really, as he goes through these corners, sliding through the corners, doesn't break or lift or anything through the S section there on the exit. Very strong from Lewis. He's 1/10 up. Even with those slides, he's still doing pretty strong. And now through sector 3, the stadium section, can he seem to go quicker than Trap Formula, though, is the question. Trap Formula on a 13.4, Lewis on a 13.8. He's really trying to drag the car away, and he's not done it. So Lewis is going to be second at best in this qualifying session, it looks like. Trap Formula, he's going to be having pole by quite a margin if no one can beat him. Stiggy at the moment, he's coming towards the end of his lap. Can the AlphaTauri do much more than what he's done already? We don't know at the moment. He is 2/10 up, which is obviously definitely not enough, but there could have been a major mistake in the final sector which could have cost him the time. He doesn't go towards the inside, and you know what, he did make a few mistakes through sector 3 anyway, because he has made another 2/10 on that lap. So 5th place goes the AlphaTauri driver of Stiggy then. And here's a man we want to talk about. We want to talk about Hersey. He's 7/10 up. Here we go then, everybody. Let's see what the championship leader can do. Can he take pole position? No, he cannot. He slots himself into 3rd place, and that's a very good lap as well. Very strong lap, just not enough though to beat Trap Formula or Lewis. At the moment, Poggle finishes his lap, doesn't go quicker. He may want to go again though, he does have time. Unfortunately for Lewis, however, it's a little bit unlikely now that he can go again, since he did lift on the exit of his on the finish of his lap. Aero Specialist needs to set a time now. This is crucial for the Racing Point driver. Can he set a time? And more importantly, can he set pole? I just said that earlier. He is looking quite strong in this. There's a quite wide corner through there, so I don't think this is probably going to be the best lap he can put in, but he's still looking quite strong. Very, very flaky through these corners, and out of the final corner, what can Aero Specialist do? Can he really put in a good lap time? Oh, has he run out of fuel on the exit there? I don't know what happened there. He kind of just slowed down. He goes 8th place either way. Behind Vone is his teammate, and I think there could have been a bit more out of that lap for him. I have seen him do a bit better in previous thing. We're going to go with Davey W now. He's going to be coming towards the end of his lap. It is going to be Trap Formula, the current pole sitter, next alongside after him. And look at him come through the corners, looking like he's gaining an absolute age on Davey. Is Davey going to come across the line and set a really good lap time, or is he going to be... Hersey's out, retired from the session. Davey goes 4th place, stays there. Trap Formula stays in this position as well. Doesn't improve his lap time. Can Stebber do anything? He's up on his lap time. Can he make up time through sector 3? What's it going to be? He's going to make up time, but not make up a position. What about Vonis? Vonis doesn't make up position either. I think now we've only really got Dino and Rika. Dino's coming to the pit, so that's his qualifying over, and Rika's is over. He does improve, but it's not enough to provide him a position upwards. But yeah, there we go then. So for the first time in a while, we're not going to be saying Hersey's got pole position, because he hasn't got pole position, ladies and gentlemen. And I tell you what, it could be very interesting, this race. Trap Formula on pole position with Lewis in 2nd place, just off Trap Formula, and has the potential to set the pace, but Trap Formula also does, since he set his fastest lap on 2 lap on Sauce, which is going to be a little bit of a story going into this race, because his tyres are... Hersey in 3rd place, Davey W in 4th place, a good qualifying for the Williams teams, with only one of them tonight, the only one representing them. Stebber 5th, Stiggy in 6th, Vonis 7th, Aero Specialist 8th, James Dovey 9th, and Poggle in 10th. And there is everyone outside the top 10 for you, who will have the choice of 3 tyres. And I mean, interestingly, there are 2 drivers there, Dino and Jack Tyler, who have set their fastest lap on the mediums. Either they voluntarily chose that, or they've just screwed up their soft laps. And I would suggest the latter, because this isn't exactly one of the tracks that I consider, anyway, to be the strong, reverse strat OP sort of thing. But I could be wrong. We haven't seen many league races at Mexico. I think the only one we've had in PSGL is the FP1 earlier this week, which I didn't recap. So I have no idea about the strategy or anything. quite good for me, isn't it? But, you know, I think we'll be happy, though, with that qualifying session. And I think we're going to be in for a very interesting race. I think this is the first front row. Actually, no, not the first front row for Lewis or Trap Formula. I know Trap Formula's taken pole, but I think Lewis took pole in Russia as well. So they've both taken pole, so they both know what it's like to be at the front, both these drivers. However, they're both seeking their first victory here in PSGL, and Trap Formula's come close on multiple occasions, but just hasn't really been able to get the job done. Is it the day finally for the Ferrari driver, or will it just be another missed chance or missed opportunity, or just mistake, or anything? We'll have to find out for that one. But Lewis, this could be an opportunity to get rid of those race time woes in Russia, where he dominated qualifying. In fact, I believe he got pole position by 4/10, but in the race he was not really in the hunt for the victory for most of it. But for some of it he was, but just didn't feel it in the race like he did in qualifying. Maybe that could have been the wet conditions that stopped that. But Hersey has been the driver who has been the favourite to win not only this race but probably the championship now, and that's no disrespect for Dende, but with him not being here tonight, that's also a big hindrance for himself. But also we had to remind ourselves that that only Dende and Hersey have won this season. We've not seen anyone else win this actually no, we've seen Yigamal win in Belgium. Excuse me for that one, I've completely missed that one. But those two have been prominent on the podium, which explains why they are 40 points clear. 41 points clear, Dende is, who's in second place, or James Dovey in third place. And really, Hersey at the moment, he'll be looking quite well in himself, and Lewis has actually got disqualified from the formation lap. I'm curious to see what happened there. Rain in 10 to 15 minutes then, so like I said, rain can be at the end, it can be at the start, it can be in the middle. Once it says it's at the end, it's not exactly always true. I think Lewis has spun. Okay, well that explains why he is back at the start. Not a good start for him, because his tyres, they are going to be cold. And if he does run no traction, I tell you what, it's an absolute nightmare getting off the line. With cold tyres, that is. As we will wait, and that's really awkward sort of camera angle, because we cannot see any of the cars. It's like an absolute speck in the corner on my top left. Look at that. What's the point of that? Anyway, we'll go with Hersey then, just for now, until we get the official sort of starting thing up for us then. And hopefully we're in for a very good race. It's a long run down to turn one. And when will we get the lights on? We will just check now, and there we go, the lights do come on now. So let's see who gets to run down to turn one best. And we get underway for this race. A rather slow start. One of the Mercedes already through. And look at Hersey. Hersey's got a good start. He's already alongside Trap Formula on the outside there. And a poor start, as expected by Lewis. He's already dropped down to 10th there, unless that's almost completely wrong. But anyway, Trap Formula then. Round the outside goes Hersey. He has the inside line for this corner. Trap Formula doesn't give a position to Vones, who was looking rather lively on the inside. But Hersey takes the lead out the first section here, and surprise really to most of us, but Davey W in third place. He's going to be looking quite strong. A little bit of overtakes looking to be done, but a really poor start for Lewis. He's all the way down in 15th place, and that's an awkward moment. There's a spinner. That is CPI Black Phoenix, who has not exactly been his first spin, and most of the time it has not been down to his fault. There's another one, that's Warren Haug, who's gone off recklessly. There's another one who's gone off, and that's Chat Tyler. A lot of people started to struggle in this midfield a bit. I think Chat Tyler's got a little bit of wing damage there. In fact, probably a lot of wing damage, in fact, as Rika gets by him. A little bit of a squabble at the back, but back to the front of the action. Anyway, Trap Formula looking to close on Hersey and making sure that Hersey doesn't get away at the moment. Hopefully, we can see a good race between these guys. And now we're going to see that simple desync issue with the standings. Shouldn't take too long to recover itself, hopefully. And hopefully, we've got a good race in our hands here. Trap Formula is quite clear. That is not Trap Formula. That is Trap Formula, and going side by side behind him, it is going to be Stebber and Davey W. I think Stebber's got by, unless he was in that third place beforehand, but he does defend his position if so. I need to recap that, but anyway, Trap Formula then in second place. Hersey is not in 10th. He is actually in the lead of this race, do not worry. Lewis has got wing damage. He had wing damage, it's hence why he pit and hence why he moved back. So really a disaster of a start for the Australian driver, and Hersey's probably made a little mistake out of there because Trap Formula's a little bit closer. Stebber is not 2/10 behind Trap Formula. Again, another telemetry issue. That'll fix itself at the end of this lap, and also at the end of this lap we'll have DRS. So we don't have it now, which will make things a little bit more interesting. But Hersey leads this race. Trap Formula not giving up, just behind him though, as he is in sight for his first victory. Stebber already got a penalty, and this is the signs to come. You'll see a few more penalties in the next couple of laps, I reckon. This is definitely not the easiest track to stay clean and away from that black and white flag, and hopefully we don't see too many of them. DRS enabled now. Trap Formula will not get it until the end of turn 3. And at the moment he doesn't exactly look close to the man leading the race in Hersey at the moment. Looking further back, is there any sort of battles potentially happening? Perhaps this one with David W. He's not close enough to make an overtake, but this is where things will start to close up now between Hersey and Trap Formula, and we'll have to wait and see on this one. There are a couple of long straights on this track, so we'll have to wait and see whether we do get a little bit of a change for the lead. I do expect it, really, because this is how long that straight is on the back. But Stebber not really playing his part at the moment, 1.2 seconds behind Trap Formula. A bit of a concern for everyone behind as the leaders now start to get away. And speaking of one of the leaders, Trap Formula will not be encouraged by that. Already a 3-second time penalty on the opening 3 laps of this race, as he does continue to move back slightly on his rival here today in Hersey, and Hersey just comfortably sitting in the lead. But here comes the DRS, and here comes the moment where potentially we could see Trap Formula make a strike nice and early on for us. I don't know if he will do so. He put the overtake on, he's put it all on at the moment, but Gallants just sticks behind and just waits for a little bit longer, as he knows he's just not going to make that gap up in the entire straight. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, but he's just sitting behind. That's probably another warning there. At the exit of the corner, his DRS open again for the Ferrari driver, but again, just not close enough for a move at the moment. Rika, though, was going side by side with Dino into the corner, but it looks like he's reigned supreme with it. However, going a little wide at the corner has opened the momentum up for Dino, and is Dino gonna think about a move down the inside? Nice and easy on the Mercedes driver, and there we go, nice and easy as you like. And he's actually got wide a little bit there, and a little bit of bumping just to try and stick into position as Rika gets his position back in P11. A bit of a gap between these guys now, but it is expected on the medium tyres. But Alpha's going quite strong on the mediums, like last week, of course, we saw that as well. Him going quite strong on the medium tyres in 8th place currently, which is a good position for the Ferrari driver, and I don't think he'll be complaining about that at the moment. It's looking a little bit closer between the two leaders. I will suggest whether it is close enough to have a go at him, whether he will close up enough. It looks like he's just going to sit behind though, Trap Formula. He is definitely closing, but again, I don't think it's enough. I may be wrong. We've gone into the first corner and it's definitely not close enough, but we're going to go back to that battle because it does look very close. And you know what, it does look like a potential for an overtake here. Is Trap Formula going to go for it? Is he just going to sit behind? It looks like he's sitting behind again for now. And Hersey right now will be pretty happy with himself that Trap Formula has not gone for the attack. Trap Formula just sitting behind, waiting for the right time to strike. And looking further back, Rika at the moment in 11th place, and Black Phoenix has got behind Dino, so Dino's completely lost his momentum. He's moving down the field, down to 14th now for him. Lewis on the hard tyres is closing in on everyone. I don't think he'll make enough time to even challenge the leaders, but that's an interesting frame of mind. As Alpha F1's retired, And I said about him, he's had a good start on the hard tyres. He'll be very displeased with that. And here's an interesting thing. What's the strategy here? Into the pits or staying out? What's everyone doing? Into the pits for everyone in this race then, as the safety car comes out. And that is very unfortunate. Alpha F1, he's the first retirement of the day. Hopefully we don't see many more retirements. But everyone who's on the softs decided to come into the pits. Now, if I am correct, Rika's going to move up to second. So, a really good day for Rika at the moment. He'll be looking potentially good with that. If the rain is coming in 10 to 15 minutes, that is. Same with Warren Howell. I'm pretty sure these guys will be praying for the rain in the next couple of laps. But Hersey in the lead. And the safety car only increases the chance of the rain hitting on time if it is meant to be coming late in the race or at the end of the race, to quote James Dovey. And I think for those two, they'll be rather happy. I think also for Lewis and Jack Tyler, I think they'll be happy as well, because they don't really want to stay on those hard tyres. They'll be going for the mediums. Dino, funny enough, has actually gone for the softs. Same with Vonis, and same with Puggle, which is an interesting strategy. Either they're doing a two-stop, or they think the rain is going to come within this soft stint, which is a possibility. Because if it was 10 to 15 minutes, you'll be looking, I guess, around lap 10 or lap 9, possibly even, to lap 15. If it was in 10 to 15 minutes, and if it all goes wrong, then, well, unfortunately, they'll have to pit again, and they'll probably be ruined in this race, which is, again, fairly unfortunate. But as we will get underway, hopefully, towards the end, and actually, I've just missed this, actually, frankly, interestingly, Hersey on the soft tyres. So, again, another reason to believe there's going to possibly be rain soon. But if it's not within their stint, this is a really good opportunity for Track Formula as Warren Howell comes into the pits. I'm guessing for the softs. So this is rather interesting now, because if Hersey has made the wrong choice and those soft tyres are basically done and the rain starts coming down, this just benefits Track Formula. And Track Formula is possibly in a much more secure position to overtake Hersey at that point. So this could be a rather interesting one. It really just depends on when the heavens open up, or if even the heavens open up, because this could be a race-defining strategy for everyone on this grid. Either a masterclass one or an absolutely shambolic one. Anyway, so safety car in this lap, ladies and gentlemen, and hopefully we get a rather interesting race now. I do fear there'll be rain down in around 2 to 3 laps, and it's going to ruin it all. But I also fear we're going to see a certain point where we'll have this, the crossover, and someone's going to get it horrifically wrong. There's multiple different things that can happen as we get underway then for this race, and Hersey gets a really good start away. Rika gets a good start. That's Jack Tyler. We're not going to go on board with him at the moment. He's at the back of the field. Anyway, Rika's going to come straight back at Hersey. Hersey not really hesitating too much. He goes defensive now. Rika's gone to the outside. Is he going to put a challenge on Hersey then? Round the outside goes Rika into the corner, and is the 5-lap-old medium tyre driver going to get the move done? Not about. The grip there is there for both Hersey and Track Formula, but I think he may have a go again, Rika. Rika looking to the inside now of Track Formula. Is he going to send it down the inside of the Ferrari driver? The Ferrari remains competent enough. And now also Rika's under pressure from Steber, but look how close that was from from Hersey being overtaken into the first corner there. And I tell you what, that was probably a little bit more pressurising than what Hersey expected coming out of that first corner. And you know what about pressure? He's got a 3-second time penalty now, so obviously one of the cleaner drivers of the season hasn't particularly got that sort of freedom at the moment anymore. Steber now starting to struggle. He knows his tyres are much older than these guys. Around the outside, what a good move from Steber there. Has he got it completely done? Yes, he has. What a beautiful move from the Alfa Romeo there. And as the Williams targeted the move on the inside, went over the curb, which unsettled his car. Didn't help him at all, but a little bit of a train now between these guys, and I wonder now who is going to go chasing. I'll tell you who's going to go possibly chasing at the moment. It's Vonis going after Rika at the moment. They're going side by side. He should have the grip into the corner on the soft tyres, but that's not always guaranteed. He's just going to sit behind, and you know what, Rika's already used all his ERS up just to try and get past hers. He hasn't worked, and now that strategy's completely left him exposed. And now here's an opportunity for Vonis. Is Vonis going to take it? Goes defensive Rika, but actually the inside line is the other side, but stays behind him for Vonis, because Vonis does realise that Rika's outside the DRS at the moment, and DRS is going to possibly be enabled next lap, so there is an opportunity. But however, we do look at the clouds at the moment. They are starting to gather, which does suggest that there will be rain coming very soon. But how soon will it come, and how effective will it be when it comes to the crossover point? Vonis looking a lot more grippy through these corners. You can just see easily how much grip those soft tyres have to the medium. Is he going to make his move now? He looks to the outside instead of the inside, which is kind of surprising. Should be able to brake later, doesn't brake later, sticks behind, is actually in trouble now, and now Davey's going to look and send it down the inside, and he does. A good move from him. This is not good though for Vonis. He falls behind Davey W now, and that's not what he intended to happen. Hersey's now got the fastest lap of the race, but the clouds have really started to go dark now, so really rain is imminent, I reckon, at the moment, which is probably why the soft tyre drivers are now in an insane advantage at the moment. But look at this, side by side, Poggle and James Dovey, soft tyre versus medium tyre. You know what, medium tyres actually won that one, but soft tyres come battling back at the medium tyres end, and it looks like James Dovey's just about going to hold on. Poggle a little bit of a slide out the exit of the corner. This could leave an opportunity for Aero Specialist now to have a go, and look at this, free wide into the corner, not just about, but around the outside goes Aero Specialist, and Poggle, once again, he could lose another position to another medium tyre driver, still going at it through the corners, and then through another corner as well. Down the inside goes Aero Specialist, not quite has it though at the end of the day, so it sticks in 9th place. Poggle remains in 8th, and even worse than that, he's made a mistake, and I think that 3-second penalty has put him off a little bit more as well. Just behind, look at that, it's almost tracing for Stiggy in 11th place, and now Dino's going slow. So many drivers going slow in some areas. This is quite awkward, but this is awkward as well. Aero Specialist, as he clipped the wall there, he's stuck there in the position. A lot of dive bombs in this midfield, a lot of craziness going on, but Aero Specialist just about remaining calm in the position, but he could have easily caused another mistake. But a lot of moments going on behind him. But here's Warren Haug. Is he going to send it down the inside of Aero Specialist? He will have the DRS, doesn't have the ERS though, really, to impact much. Looking further behind though, there looks to be an opportunity now for both AlphaTauris and the McLaren also to go 4 wide into the corner. McLaren goes down the inside, that's moving under braking. Not very good there for the CVI Black Phoenix. Has to be careful and not do that again to make sure no incident is caused. But Dino then it gets past Stiggy, so Stiggy's been moving up and down positions like no tomorrow at the moment. But anyway, looking further up the field then, as we have had a lot of battling at the back. In the midfield we do have Vonis still struggling to get through these medium tyre drivers. He'll be looking to get past Davey W soon, and hopefully he'll be looking at it, but he's going quite slow through this bit, perhaps just conserving a little bit, not really pushing it. He does know he's got a bit of time, and he's in a good position right now as well. He will also sense that. But yeah, only Rika decided to stick out on the same tyres, and I mean, awkwardly he's fallen back a bit, but I tell you what, it still benefited him. I think he'll still be happy in the position he's got. But now here comes Vonis. Is he now going to take the time to strike Davey W? 4 seconds for Davey, so he's definitely not getting the DRS. Vonis is quicker. You can easily tell that. Davey W left exposed. Is he going to go defensive? No, he doesn't. Bonus up to 4th place then. And there is the rain, ladies and gentlemen. It has come, as you can see on there, just to be sure. And James Dovey making a position up. That's going to be good for him when the crossover point does come. Makes up another position. And, oh, I think that's Rico who's gone. Yes, it is. He's gone and spun. I saw that in the corner of my eye there, which is a good spot. But Rico going down to the back of the grid. And that's all the momentum he had just gone. So it looks like Hersey's decision to go on to a new set of softs has kind of worked. He's got a 4-second gap to track formula. However, there is a slight possibility where the rain could start to come down heavy enough to go onto intermediate conditions after Hersey has passed the pit lane. And if that happens, then we've got a big shake-up, because potentially it could lead for the likes of Vonus to impact upon it. But there is a few gaps between the top 4 right now. Davey W is going to fall back a little bit. Is Poggle going to figure out getting a move on those soft tyres, which should be much better with these greasy surfaces than the mediums. Who's actually got past as well, because Rika spun. But DRS open now for Poggle. Is he going to look down the inside of James Dovey? Is James Dovey going to go defensive more or less? No, he doesn't. And in fact, Poggle just gets a nice easy position down the inside. James Dovey does think about coming back, and he is going to stick there to the inside. And he does stay there quite a while as well. And oh, he doesn't get DRS. This is going to be awkward out of here. Is James Dovey going to fight back? He's thinking about it. I think he's just not got enough to attack the Mercedes up ahead in 6th place. So I think that's a bit of wing damage as well there for James Dovey. So not exactly what he would have wanted. So yeah, I think the action is going to calm down now a little bit, now that the conditions are going to mean that the drivers are going to be a little more cautious than previously thought. However, James Dovey really starting to struggle with that wing damage a little bit now, which could be a concern. And what also could be a concern is his lack of overtake available to him, especially compared to the driver behind him. Aero Specialist is on 64%, James Dovey on 21%. With this long straight coming up, that 21% will not last for long. Or James Dovey will have to give up the position here. So here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. DRS open. Is he going to turn the overtake on? He isn't. Aero Specialist just believes he's got enough without pressing the overtake button. And there we go, nice and easy, up to 7th place. James Dovey down to 8th. I think James Dovey, though, is going to struggle a little bit more now with that wind damage and the changing conditions as well. It's not going to be helpful. Anyway, though, so Lewis at the moment, he is on a little bit of a campaign to move up, and I think he'll be happy with where he is at the moment. He would probably want to be higher, considering where he would have started. Warren Haug's having a little bit of internet issues. He's left the session, in fact. So that's unfortunate for Warren. But Lewis probably going to make up a nice free position here in a couple of corners. In fact, this corner, in fact. And I wonder when the crossover point is coming. It don't look like it's ready just yet, or for a little while now. But who is going to make the first blow? Who's going to try be a little bit more risky and go on to the intermediates? It would not be here. Is Poggle going to look for an overtake more interestingly? And DRS open for both of these guys, so Poggle's just going to have a nice go at Davey. I think Davey, though, they're both out of ERS here, so they're both really just relying on the grip that they've got and the speed that they've got. And oh my goodness, very close into the corners, very close towards each other. This is the point, I think, where the softs are starting to go off and the mediums are starting to come through. Trap Formula has closed in considerably a lot on Hersey ahead. The conditions are not helpful, though, in terms of finding a bit more of a difference. I'm intrigued to see how that goes down and whether we have got enough time to see Trap Formula catch up to Hersey. And intermediates for Warren Haug. That's an interesting sight, because that's actually the AI. Does that suggest that Hersey will pit? No, it doesn't. Hersey has not pitted. What about Trap Formula? Has he going to risk it? No. Stebber Is anyone going to risk it? It looks like Warren Hauger's risked it, but that's his AI. That's not his actual decision. No one's going to risk it then. I think even the AI is struggling, to be fair. Like, we go on board with the AI. Yeah. Look at it. It's going so slow. And this AI isn't exactly that bad. It's not like it was a couple of races ago. It's actually not that bad now. It's actually boosted up. Here goes Aero Specialist. Davey starting to really not find his boots anymore. And Aero Specialist up the inside. Nice and easy on Davey W. I say nice and easy, but because of the conditions, it's a little bit more slippery. So overtaking or sending it later is going to be a lot more difficult because the tyres are cooler, etc. James Dovey and Stiga, the first two into the pits on into intermediate tyres then. They take the first blow of this race onto the Inters. So they've obviously seen that Warren's coming to the pits, or his AI's coming to the pits to suggest that. However, Warren's AI is into the pits again, and his AI has decided to pick the softs. So that's very, very interesting indeed for now. And you can clearly see it is not ready for intermediate conditions. You'll see through this corner as a pure example. Look at it, it's just sliding so slow through the corners. It's definitely not ready, and Gigamal is a bit late than expected, and unfortunately Gigamal will not be competing in this race. But yeah, you can just see it's not intermediate conditions just as yet. It is getting there though. Look at the difference between at times. They do go up by around the 10th per corner, and James Dovey putting himself in a more awkward situation. But I think the problem now for Hersey is if his tyres can hang on. They will. But it's just going to be interesting to see. I don't think the move that both James Dovey and Stiggy have done are the best of moves. I think they've not really done too well on that. Those two are battling though. I think. Yeah, the two are battling. I don't know how long the soft tyres can last at this track. They can probably last a little bit longer than expected. Track Formula's probably made a mistake. But yeah, a little bit of battles now going on between the intermediate tyre drivers. But look how slow everyone's going through here. Is it a little bit better than the Inters? Yes, it is. Doesn't look by much though, does it? I wonder if anyone is going to just try and risk some sort of strategy here and actually go on to the intermediates and risk it all, because the lap's relatively small here. But if we look at the difference now starting to go up on the telemetry on the interval compared to Rika, it does seem to have really, really slowed down now. So whether we have now got a time to potentially see an undercut is interesting. Black Phoenix into the pits now, so I think now we're going to see a few more drivers perhaps taking that opportunity to do what's right and come into the pits and eventually get those old softs off. Talk about old softs, Poggle's got a good move on Avonius then. So Poggle up to 4th place. If I am correct, he is not far off his first podium then in PSGL this season. At the moment, he's been close before. He has finished 4th before, that is. And I'm just trying to find him. There he is. He finished 4th in Russia, so he has been close. So this does suggest potentially he is a rain specialist. As Black Phoenix does come out, how is Black Phoenix going to compare is the real question on the intermediate tyres. And more importantly, is this Hersey into the pits? It is Hersey into the pits. So in come the drivers then. They're actually going to be coming in for their pit stops, and more intriguingly, I think we're going to see some interesting battles coming out of the pits. Aero Specialists really starting to struggle now. A lot of drivers starting to struggle on these soft or medium tyres. Perhaps now they've left it a bit too late. Black Phoenix may make up a lot of time. You know what? Aero Specialist has been really done over here. His teammates had to come into the pits and he doesn't want to get held. So Aero Specialist is out for an extra lap. Which really gives a good opportunity for most. I tell you who this has definitely not helped though, is Track Formula. He has got a driver that is going to likely be slower than him ahead of him, and because the conditions continuing to dampen and DRS now disabled, it is clearly intermediate conditions. So now Track Formula has to get rid of Aero Specialist as quickly as possible. But at the moment, unfortunately, Hersey is clear of everyone at the moment. But look at that. Because they don't want double stack, the problem now has been, and oh, look at this, nice move down the inside for Track Formula, shouldn't be battled, but the problem now for some of these drivers, particularly the two that haven't pitted yet, being Rika and Aero Specialist, particularly Rika, because he's down in 6th at the moment, so he's just going to completely fall to the back of the grid when he makes his stop. But also Aero Specialist, this is going to lose him a lot of time. You look how much time he's already lost to Track Formula. 4 seconds. And you've got to remember, he only overtook him a couple of corners ago. And Steber is now right behind him. Oh, there's a yellow flag in Sector 2. That is the Mercedes of Rika. I was expecting something like this from someone who's not on the intermediate tyres. And luckily, I don't think he's got any damage. He's in the way a little bit there. Be careful. Not to get in the way of Dino, and he does come onto the track all right though, but on the 18 lap old mediums he will be coming in this lap, definitely. So yeah, it has not worked out for Track Formula though. The whole you know, should I go on mediums or softs has just not worked. And it's a bit of a gamble really for both sides, but the gamble has just paid off for Hersey, hasn't it? 5.6 seconds clear of everyone else right now. As Vonus in 6th place at the moment, he is very close to Jack Tyler. Is he going to be looking for a move? As Jack Tyler seems to be using a lot more ERS in him, as it looks like, or just has better straight line speed. And Vonus just going to sit behind at the moment. He's not going to rush anything. He knows he's got time to play with. He hasn't got all the time in the world, but he's got a good chunk of time before he thinks about overtaking. So he's just going to make sure he takes the right opportunity when it comes. Anyway, back to the action then. There's not much going on at the moment, which is a little bit unfortunate. Hopefully we will get action towards the finish of this race, and we've got yellow flag. That is because someone is coming into the pits, or are they awkwardly... They haven't come into the pits. It's James Dovey, and he smacked the wall. So I'm completely messed up with that one. As yellow flags, we're not going to see any sort of safety car. Perhaps like many people will perhaps be praying for at the moment, because there's not much going on, which is a little bit of a shame. As Aero Specialist just picks up a penalty there, so we're just going to have to wait a little bit, as intervals are just massive, aren't they? Let's just look at the gap to the leader, and this is what we mean. Hersey has really started to stretch his legs now. 2 stops. Jack Tyler has made 3 stops into 5th place, which is quite good for him. Made up 10 positions. So if I had to give a driver of the day at the moment, it would definitely be Jack Tyler. Because he has made up a lot of positions. He's made an extra stop than everyone, and well, he's just looking strong at the moment. Looking at penalties though, oh my goodness, Steber on 14 seconds, James Dovey on 16 seconds. They won't want to replay that one in that case. I think 2 5-seconds penalties is bad. But both of them have not had good days. And oh, James Dovey's actually retired. He's retired in the pit lane, so no safety cars or anything will be happening. Again, I say that in a rather unfortunate fashion. Yeah. Anyway, so we do have the race leader 7 seconds clear now. Oh, Warren Haug's joined back. He's a little late to the party, but he's joined back in this race. I wonder if he's just going to go around trying to set the fastest lap, but obviously I can't really say that because these conditions compared to we've been in dry conditions, so obviously he will not, unless he's some sort of magic man. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Aero Specialist right now, looking quite close to Black Phoenix. Really look for a move is the question. Not at the moment, and again, the problem is that we're not going to have much action on the track at the moment, which I do apologise for. But this happens in racing, you know. This happens in F1 in real life, where everything just gets spaced out. And unfortunately, we are trapped with no real excitement. We do have a Red Bull in the wall, and that is Dino. So Dino in the wall then. Has he lost a little bit of end plate? No, he hasn't. I think anyone watching right now would literally just be praying for a safety car at the moment. Just so we can see a little bit more fun action, close-up action. But at the end of the day, it looks like we're not going to get it at the moment. That was tough, yeah, it must have been. I mean, Mexico has not been your favourite, has it, James? You did state that before last week, that it's not one of your tracks, it's a track you hate, so, I mean, next week, obviously, it's Abu Dhabi, so, I don't know what your opinion is on that, but it doesn't look exactly too different as, well, Black Phoenix and Lewis are both pitting. There's multiple people pitting, and they're pitting onto wets. Okay, so we have got a little bit more spice now. We've got drivers on the wet tyres, and some on the inters. My question to that: does this mean we're now going to see Hersey in the pits, etc.? I do not know. Interesting. Anyway, Hersey at the moment, he's staying out. I wonder if he's just going to the end because he's 8 seconds clear, but I don't know how bad the conditions are out there. But if drivers are just moving to wets, it must be getting worse. Your intermediates are on 40. What do you mean they're on 40? You were only out for like 5 laps. Ah, wait. Yours were on 40 actually, I think, because I think it was just because you spun. Not spun. I think it's because you came out when it was dry conditions, so they overheated. So that may explain why they were 40. I think it may be a little bit different though, because it wasn't in the dry conditions. But it was interesting to see drivers go onto the wet tyres, suggesting that perhaps there's a move there potentially. And they do look quicker. I want to just point out, they do definitely look quicker. Look how close Lewis is to Vaca Stiggy. So actually, this could be quite an inspired move. It's not going to be for the win, I can guarantee that, but the wet tyres look fairly quick. 8% a lap after. Damn, I didn't even realise that. That's mental. It could have been set up, but still. 8% a lap is mental. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, they seem to be surviving. However, Davey is apparently on 0 lap old Inters. Did he just come in? I don't even know. By the looks of it, he did, but I don't know. Well, we'll just look here. He must have, because he made most of the drivers made 2 stops. He's made a 3rd stop, and he's come on to intermediate. So Inters, I don't think will make it to the end. I think you are actually correct that the Inters won't make it to the end. And I'm rather surprised Track Formula has not thought about the wets. Simply because he's losing time on the Inters, and Lewis is absolutely loving it on the wet tyres. He's absolutely making gains. I'll probably say that and he'll spin now, knowing my luck. Well, no, he's still in a battle with Davey W, frankly, but he's got by. So really, this could have been a big missed opportunity for Track Formula to pit earlier, and I wonder if Hersey's going to pit now. It doesn't suggest he's going to pit, but that could be completely wrong. Let's see what he does. Yes he does, he pits in this lap. So Track Formula has missed a humongous opportunity because Lewis was gaining so much time on those wet tyres. Is Hersey going to come in for wets, or is he on to Inters? Nah, they're wets. He's on for wets, so Track Formula has missed an amazing opportunity. And so this is basically now going to be the finish, unless there's a safety car or something. But the Inters don't seem to have gone long. I just think the conditions are extremely wet. As Poggle slightly cuts the corner there. I don't know if that was actually an illegal entry or not. I believe so, but I'm not going to snitch. I'm not a driver. That's up to the drivers to do, potentially, unless it's already been seen. But anyway, Vonis into the pits as well. So everyone's coming in, unsurprisingly. Steber has come in onto Inters. Sorry, he's come out on Inters. So he believes the conditions are either not ready for wet or they're just going to clear up. Interesting. So Steber's already got another 3-second time penalty. So obviously I don't think Steber's winning this race simply because of how many penalties he's got. I think that'll be quite remarkable. He'll have to have everything go his way, really. Lewis has propelled himself into a good position now, and it could be another 2 positions here because I can't see Steber really improving on these Inters unless the track improves. And he is starting to lose a lot of time to those wet tyres. And Aero Specialist, I reckon, will still need to pit. So Lewis has actually done a pretty good strategy here. And, well, we said about Jack Tyler potentially getting on the podium. Something happens, he may as well do. He'll need a little bit of a luck, though. You're clipping it, you're bitter. Alright. I mean, that'd be kind of rude here, because Poggle's on for a podium. And he hasn't had a podium in PSGL this season. And if I am correct about Steber, and about Aero Specialist I'm definitely correct about, because he's in the pits now. But if I'm correct about Steber, Steber's going to be quite slow on his Inters. And he will be looking to potentially see if it dries up. I think that's the only way we can actually see him potentially not potentially finish first, which would actually be a good position for Steber. But gotta remember, let's just look at this for a moment. He's got 12 oh, it's because he's obviously served a 5-second penalty off, but he's got 12 seconds of penalties, which definitely, looking at the interval, is not enough to get him a podium. And Poggle is certain to be quicker on those wet tyres to the intermediate. So I mean, Poggle is on for a really good position to get himself a first podium this season, and Jack Tyler is going to be on for potentially getting his first podium since Australia. So it's been a while for Jack Tyler, and it's not been this season so far for Poggle. I wonder if those two do start to intervene. It'll be an interesting battle, but Steber's just going to fall behind a little bit, unfortunately, and well, that's probably going to be it for him. Whether it's going to be 3rd or 4th place now. Only the weather, time, etc. can tell. But anyway, now coming through lap 29 of 36, 7 laps to go then. It does actually look like it's started to dry up a little bit. Don't quote me on that. I think we will see by the intervals. The intervals are definitely closing between Steba and Trap Formula, but we had to remind ourselves that Trap Formula could have made a mistake, and plus Steba is on the straights. We will have to keep an eye on that, whether that goes up or down. But for Black Phoenix right now, he's got 2 intermediate tyre drivers, so this is actually a good comparison in itself as well. And it will start to show whether the intermediates are starting to come into play now. I think more interestingly really is that Steba, if they do become so good, or it does become really good conditions to where it becomes impossible to drive for Hersey in Trap Formula, could we see Steba come back and potentially take a win, which in theory could mean that Dino is in a good position then. It has to get really, really dry really, really quickly for that to happen. But we will keep an eye. It looks like Steba just seems to be fluctuating up and down, and so does Black Phoenix, as he looks to almost be overtaken by Vonus, who's not exactly in the end had probably the potential of a race that what could have been, which I think he'll be quite disappointed about. This is a battle for 8th place, and Black Phoenix is starting to pull away a little bit. Rika's left the session. That's unfortunately, I think, a lag out. Yeah, but Vonus now very, very close to Black Phoenix. Black Phoenix actually pits, which is an interesting gamble, I think. He's pitting on 4-lap-old wets onto Inters? Yeah, it is. So, how interesting. The conditions now, I don't know what to think about them. Is it wet? Is it Inters? Are any of the leaders going to just think about just coming straight back in for Inters, or what? What's going to happen here? Hersey, he's going to come across the line. He's not going to take any sort of gamble. But it's definitely slowed down, and it definitely has shown to dry up. But Stepper just doesn't have to... He hasn't shown that he's made much progression. That's what I'm confused about. If it was so much for intermediate conditions, he would have definitely been able to close in for these two, but he's definitely got away from Poggle. I mean, this weather is rather strange, isn't it, James? We don't know what's happening. Stebber, I think, is definitely now starting to close in. The only annoying thing, I think, is, for Stebber, in any sense of the question, is the fact that he's got so many penalties. If it weren't for his penalties, a P2 was potentially on the cards. I'm just intrigued to see what the leaders do now. I want to see if Trap Formula, or even Hersey for that matter, do take a little bit of a risk here and put on the Inters. I don't think it's too much of a risk if Hersey does do so, nor Trap Formula. But if Trap Formula does it and Hersey doesn't, there is a chance we could still have a race on here. Although it's very slim, I talked about how I was able to gain a complete pit stop by just going on the better tyres, onto the intermediates other than the softs, but Hersey doesn't come in. I mean, Trap Formula, go for it. You're 19 seconds clear. You know Stepper's got so many penalties as well. I would go for it. I'll give it a go. He doesn't give it a go. So, unfortunately, for Trap Formula, he's going to stay out for now. And again, possibly, I say possibly, you know, very cautiously, this could be a missed opportunity. Because this weather it seems very unpredictable at the moment, because we could be on intermediates, we could be on dries, or we could be on wets come the end of this race, because I just don't know what this weather is. But Stebber's made up a bit of time, but again, not enough to really consider a sacrifice, is it? And I think that's what track formula's waiting for. He's waiting to see whether it's like multiple seconds per lap, like 4 seconds per lap it'll have to be, if he's going to make a pit stop, even more than that. That's the thing, it would have to be dry. So, we'll be on softs in a lap. Who knows, we might be, but if Hersey pits now, the thing is though, is if Hersey pits now, he gets off those torrid wet tyres onto intermediates, he does come out behind, but I do have a sneaky suspicion that those inters will be able to go out well, but he's just going to stick around at the moment, because he knows that he's just got no one really there to face. Simply because Track Formula is falling behind further, he isn't pitting again, so unfortunately it looks like those two are definitely going to the end on the wet tyres. Jack Tyler on his own, Vonis is quite close to his teammate, they're both on wet tyres, and I'm just trying to look at the tyre degrees, they're like 70 degrees, so it's so awkward. The track is definitely drier, you can tell that. And you can see that, because the intermediate tyre drivers are faster. You can also see that because of those slides out the corner aren't exactly easy. But the thing is though, like I said, the gap for Hersey has basically saved his race in some proportion, because he really doesn't need to pit now. He doesn't have to have that threat. And even the Track Formula pits, I don't think that's going to be a threat now, unfortunately, because he's so far ahead, Hersey is now, that the only risk he has is if he comes into the pits and it downpours again, but it really looks like it's not. In fact, it's looking like it's going to be the opposite. We'll have to wait and see though. Oh, there's a spinner right in front of Hersey. That is Dino again. Dino's not really had the race to remember, to be honest. But yeah, again, it's just not been the race that we probably would have wanted. Perhaps there could have been a little bit more intrigue to it, but once again, it is looking likely we're going to be on for a Hersey dominance. But however, we have seen him bottle things in the past, or we have seen him completely tank slap things in the past. And if he does it again here, I genuinely think it's probably the biggest bottle we're ever going to see in PSGL history. And we're going to remove what happened to Tack a couple of seasons ago. Final corner, and this was very lucky. Out of the final corner of Spa, he was leading the race. He was going to win the race, right? He was literally just had to come across the line. And at the exit of the final corner of the bus stop, he spun the car. And, you know, if he literally left it about 2 or 3 seconds longer, he would have not won that race, which is absolutely mental. You only have one more corner to navigate. You've literally been clear leader of the race, and well, somehow is lucky, but you know. Oh no, yeah. I don't know how that happened, but I can't see that happening. I think Hersey now is just going to tiptoe his way to the line. He's got no pressure whatsoever. He's been completely clear all day. Davey is battling with Lewis. I think Davey's now going to completely clear Lewis, and you could just see that Davey is just going to clear him nice and easily. Look at the struggles that these wet tyres are now having. Compared to the Inters. Look at Steber's time. He is now starting to go down multiple seconds. The thing is that we cannot have this now. Oh, Lewis into the wall, and that is wing damage. We're a bit late now for safety cars or anything, unfortunately. I mean, come on, Hersey, just be a nice guy, you know. We know you got a championship to win. You want to win the championship and all, but come on, let's just go on the Inters. Let's give ourselves some final lap excitement. I mean, when you got a 20-second lead, that's just complete complacency, isn't it? Like, you know, you've got the final corner to go with 20-second lead, and you know, you just get complacent at that point. You could just literally tiptoe around the corner and literally just cross the line, and you're done. And if you spin and end up losing that race because of that, that must be the most humiliating thing you could ever have done. Anyway, Hersey then. Final opportunity. Does he grant our request? No, he doesn't. He is a lovely guy, isn't he, Hersey? He he's denied our request. I tell you what, who also could just be about to be denied, and that is Poggle, which is quite unfortunate. Really, he's going to be denied of a podium. Trap Formula's going to get one again. Hersey's going to get one as well. I think Steber looks in the clear to get one now. I think it's quite unfortunate, really, because it's worked out a master plan. Oh, it took his wheel off. Oh dear. Well, you basically absolutely dominated the race. How has that happened? I mean, we talk about complacency, like, that's a whole new level, isn't it, really? Like, you know, I'm going to come around the final corner, so I'm going to have a little bit of a victory spin or a donut or something, because I've absolutely dominated, and, you know, you DNF. But anyway, now through the final minutes of the race, it's been absolutely domination once again, and this seems to be a very recurring theme from when he wins. Hersey is now going to come around the final corner. He sees the confetti. There is a yellow flag in sector 2, but I don't think this man will care. He comes across the line and he's going to take another victory this season, and that is a beautiful victory for him. 14 seconds clear of Trap Formula, and that is going to continue to possibly go up. At the moment, it is now win number 7 now for Hersey, as Trap Formula there goes into the wall. He probably realises that perhaps he could have made more, and oh my goodness, Jesus Christ, that was a heavy impact there between Trap Formula and Steber, but they've both crossed the line, so obviously it's not going to go to the sewers, is it? But anyway, Poggle then, for what could have been for this driver here today, he could have been celebrating a podium, and, well, unfortunately for him, I mean, it is very unfortunate for Poggle. It could have been a really good day, but it looks like it's still going to be a good day. However, optimistically wise, he probably would have wanted a podium. And he's not even going to get 4th, the poor lad. Davies caught him right at the depth there, and Davey was really quick on those intermediates. Jack Tyler finishes 6th after a superb day for the AlphaTauri driver, really speaking from where he started. And look at this small battle between these three. Vonis is obviously going to be the last car to finish on the wet tyres, and there's an absolute massacre on the pit straight now, of around 4 cars beached, or, well, not beached, but absolutely destroyed. And I mean, if there was such thing as a currency in league racing where you actually race for these teams, I mean EA is about, but yeah, you'd be paying quite a bit of money for those cars. So perhaps that's something these drivers need to consider, but obviously this is not real life, it's virtual. You will not have to pay for broken cars or broken parts or anything. Fortunate for them. But it is this man, it is the Estonian who wins his 7th race of the season, and Hersey just cannot be stopped. When he's on his own, when he hasn't got much to do, he dominates. And, you know, when you talk about Lewis Hamilton dominating, this is Lewis Hamilton-esque, and in the wet conditions, he's shown it today as well. Hersey takes a victory in his Haas, with Trap Formula finishing in 2nd place in the end. Steber in 3rd place, a bit of a deserved podium. It was rather unfortunate for Poggle, unfortunately, in the end, who actually finishes 5th, as we've already discovered. But 4th place for Davey W, picking up the points for Williams, making sure in the constructors they feel marginally secure. Anyway, Poggle in 5th, Jack Tyler in 6th, a really good race, 15th to 6th there for him. Aero Specialist 7th, Vonis 8th, Black Phoenix in 9th, and Stiggy in 10th. Only 2 DNFs in this race of James Dovey and unfortunately Alpha F1. We will not be seeing a potential picture of him with shaved hair, which he did say at the start of the stream if he does get a point he will do. So I think he just tried everything in his power not to do that. I'm not sure if we're going to get anyone in podium interviews tonight. I've got a new mention which can suggest. Oh, that's Dende apologising. either way, that's not an issue. If you're in the stream, then that's not an issue. Obviously, you know, personal life and personal matters is in the end, it is more important than league racing. No matter whether you're on for a title or anything, it doesn't look like we're going to get anyone joining us, which is a bit unfortunate. But I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to weep about it, because it's not really too bad, is it? But anyway, in quick review, really, for this race, it's been a rather up and down sort of race. I felt that the dry stint was really good. The first couple of laps, it really was a show, and it could have really been something else today. But I mean, unfortunately, I felt like Track Formula could have done more with potential strategies and everything, and could have perhaps took a bit more risks, but it just didn't happen. And unfortunately, in the end, we will have the same winner. But we see this, don't we? And we've got to congratulate Hersey for all his might, really at the top of the standings now, as he takes a pure lead of 23 points clear now. I think it's actually now 24 because he got the fastest lap as well. So he's now 24 points clear. We've got 2 rounds to go. And all he needs to do is beat Dende, or Dende has to basically win both races. I'll just try and figure this out. Dende can finish first, and he can finish first and fifth, I think, to have any chance of winning the championship now. And for Hersey, all he needs now to win the championship is, I believe, 10 points, maybe 9 points, 10 or 9 points. I'm not the greatest at quick maths sometimes. I'm good at it, but I'm not amazing at it. But I think it's 9 or 10 points if you include the 2 fastest laps. That's all Hersey needs then to win the championship. We've got 2 rounds left. It is Abu Dhabi next week, and then the week after that we head to the finale, which will be in Japan. And hopefully next week we will see a lot of better action for the entire race. We saw good action in the first, not so great action in the second, and big congrats to the Estonian driver who seems to be dominating the track at the moment. That is his 6th victory in 7 races and his 7th victory of the season. It is Hersey, and obviously with that I'll have to see you next week, which hopefully again we will see some good action, and hopefully we'll get some more people in the commentary box so we don't have this awkward ending as well. But anyway, I've been your commentator Sam, and I will see you next week, where we will be heading to Abu Dhabi, where hopefully we'll have a really good race, and hopefully we'll have a championship battle to be settled, and hopefully we can drag it on to the final race.